Finally, the Chicago Bulls played their younger players, and they showed up and showed out tonight as the Chicago Bulls beat the Atlanta Hawks tonight, 136-122. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's game. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so, the Chicago Bulls take care of the Atlanta Hawks for the second time this season, 136-122. This is the first time they've won in cup play, so that's big after going 0-5. So finally we get a win there. But this was a team win for the Chicago Bulls, and I talked about this in the pregame video that the last time these teams played, we had 9 players that were in double figures. Tonight we had 7 players that were in double figures, and really we were terrific as far as efficiency. Tonight the Chicago Bulls had 36 assists, and I just felt like that every pass came with a purpose, and defensively, these Chicago Bulls were all over the place, and that shows really in the amount of blocks that the Chicago Bulls had. But before we jump into the team stats, I wanted to go ahead and really go over some of the MVP performances in tonight's game, and I want to go ahead and start with our younger players, and starting with Modest Buzelis. So we finally get a chance to see Modest Buzelis tonight. We've been wanting Modest Buzelis. The injuries were indicating that we should see Modest Buzelis. Torrey Craig did not start. Ayo Dosunmu started, and we're going to talk about that here in a moment. But anyway, Modest Buzelis tonight, look, he finally got 20 minutes tonight. He had 9 points. He was 1 of 4 from downtown. He had 1 steal. He had 2 blocks. He had 4 rebounds, but he was +7 tonight. And he had some huge dunks. Well, he had a dunk, and then he also had a nice rim attack as well. And he just looks like he's getting more comfortable. And quiet as is kept, he outplayed the #1 pick in the draft for Atlanta. So he had a better box score tonight than him. And so that is terrific for Modest Buzelis. I'm glad that he got a chance to play. One of the things that's talked about from Stacey King and these guys on the broadcast is that these guys are looking a lot better as they continue to get the minutes. Modest Buzelis certainly is looking good. They talked about how he just looked so efficient in his G League performance, and then you see that it's translating when he's getting up to the bigger club, and I love that with Modest Buzelis. So hopefully Billy Donovan will continue to prioritize the youth movement. And then with Dalen Terry, look, Dalen Terry is turning into maybe one of the scrappiest players on the Chicago Bulls, along with Julian Phillips. Defensively, he is an irritant. He's all over the place there. He had some great defensive plays tonight, but I loved how he's scoring the basketball. Once again, 12 points. He had 1 rebound, 2 steals. He also had 4 assists, just filling up the box score. He was +9 today. I'm liking Dalen Terry. I'm liking his activity. And I love that the work that he put in, I think, out there at USC with DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Durant, and some of these guys, it's really showing, because that's one of the things we were wondering with Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry is like, okay, we see the athleticism, but how is it going to translate on the offensive end? And I think that as you continue to put these guys in the game, you're seeing it. Today, Julian Phillips, he didn't score points today, and he really didn't have a huge impact, but you could just tell he's more comfortable being out there. It's not like we don't trust him defensively, and offensively we know he can get it going. And tonight, even though he doesn't have a huge impact in the box score, I felt like he was great for us. And then with Jalen Smith, I have definitely got to give him some credit tonight. Look, he had 13 points, he had 5 rebounds, he had 2 blocks. He was +9. He was 4 or 5 from 3 as well. Jalen Smith is a guy that we absolutely need to see some more of, especially if we're going to pivot from Vooch at some point. And I know, Vooch is playing well, and I get the sense that AK may do something like keep Vooch and Zach LaVine. But if it does go down where they do trade Vooch, I think that Jalen Smith needs to continue to get out there, and he needs to play in different lineups as well, because we need to figure out, what are going to be the best lineups to utilize his skill set, because every time he's been out there, there was this notion in the offseason that, he had the per 48 or whatever the case may be, but is that real? Like, when you do put him out there and you give him an extended run, can he be an impact? And we're seeing that. Like, he can definitely be a stretch. And I think the times that he struggled, well, it's times where, we're just not playing well together. Could be lineups and things like that. It could have been the knee injury that he's been dealing with there. And so anyway, he hasn't been listed. He looked good tonight. He was very confident, and I love that. And so, like I said, the younger players tonight played extremely well for the Chicago Bulls. And so next up, the next MVP out there for us tonight, it was Josh Giddey. Look, Josh Giddey led the starters, I think, with the plus 19 in the box score tonight. And I talked about him in the pregame video, just about confidence. And tonight I saw that with Josh Giddey. I love that he's attacking the rebounds and doing those things. So he had 6 of those. And he also had 8 assists as well. So the ball was hopping. And I feel like when you start to really lock in on what you do great, I think that the other stuff really falls into place. And, all the other noise and everything else that kind of comes with this team, that kind of goes away. And so that's what Josh Giddey has to focus on. He was out there smiling today, like he looked like he enjoyed it, and that's what you want to see from Josh Giddey. You'll probably get some better performances here. The team in general played very well. When he went, with Josh Giddey, I just think that defensively he challenged some players tonight, because look, he had 2 blocks as well. He challenged Dyson Daniels at the rim. He blocks the shot there, and he also had another block. So defensively, he was a bit more active. Yes, he struggled in some times, but I just think as a team, it was a lot better to kind of cover up some of those individual mistakes defensively, but the confidence was there. And so I think that was key. He certainly was MVP tonight, and that's how you set the table. So Josh Giddey, hopefully he can build upon this from a confidence standpoint. So I already talked about Jalen Smith and his contribution. So let's go ahead and jump now into the box score and just some more key takeaways. And so with Zach LaVine, I think that he was very efficient tonight. I love the 11 of 18 from the field. He still hit some big shots for us and kind of bailed us out and really kept Atlanta down from really making a huge run tonight. 26 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. He was, plus 5 tonight. And I just love his pace. I love his efficiency, and I love the fact that he's picking his spots, because that was like the narrative going into this season is, could he be a player that really plays off of other players? And we're seeing that. And he's been engaged on the defensive end as well. And so I love the way that Zach LaVine has really approached this. I appreciate this. And I love everything that he's doing right now. Even though he turned the basketball over 6 times, I'd much rather have this Zach LaVine any day, because he's playing well. Next up with Vooch, look, 18 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. He had 4 blocks. He was a plus in the box score as well. And so with him, what I loved about Vooch's game tonight is just that he established himself in the post. And because of that, I think it makes it easier for the Chicago Bulls. Now it doesn't put as much pressure as far as shooting the 3-point basketball. And Ayo had a terrific cut off of Vooch, I think either in the second quarter. And that is exactly what we need to see right there. Just more player movement off of Vooch when he's recognizing these mismatches, because right now Vooch is taking care of business in the post with that turnaround, that hook shot. But for whatever reason, if he's caught up and defenders are looking, then essentially you can cut off of that and you can get an easy basket, or you might get an easier action to an even better 3-point shot at that point. So, I just think that opens it up for us. And so I love when Vooch is going inside out. He has to continue doing that, and he's playing great at an all-star level. Coby White, slow start tonight, 20 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, filling up the box score, and he was plus 18 right behind Josh Giddey. So a great night from Coby White. I talked about how he's at a career high at 19.9 points per game. And this is why I love Coby White, because, between him and Ayo, they're players that they can adjust. They'll find ways to adjust. And even when they're not playing well, they'll find ways to get out of that. And so that's what I love about Coby White. You see that he wasn't playing very well, stayed with it. He stayed the course. He stayed focused. And this is the end result. So a great job from Coby White tonight. And let me give Ayo his credit too. 20 points, 8 assists. He had 3 rebounds, 2 steals. Look, he was 8 8 of 10, 2 of 3 from downtown. Super good, efficient numbers as far as shooting the basketball today. That's something that he struggled with. Ton of confidence. He made a huge plays out there, and he started tonight. And he plays very well against Atlanta. I think that his size, his defensive, just kind of intensity, it just really affects the Atlanta Hawks. And so I don't know, it's something that he has against Trae Young in this backcourt that Ayo's just been very good against them. So a great adjustment from Billy Donovan. I'm glad that he makes that adjustment tonight and starts Ayo. So some great contributions across the board from everybody. Just a terrific game. And so let's go ahead and jump into the box score and the last key takeaways from tonight's game. And so again, I talked about how this was an absolute team effort from the Chicago Bulls. I think that they did a terrific job defensively with the block shots. Look, 10-4 there. The Bulls win that. The block shots, the activity at the rim was much better. The resistance, the energy, the want-to, that's what you have to have on a night-to-night basis. That's what winning teams do. That's why you see teams like the Golden State Warriors who are playing so well, and they're at the top right now defensively because they're swarming to the basketball. Swarming to the basketball comes with the energy. It comes with the effort, even though you may not have the athleticism to go against some of these other players out there and kind of the size. If you continue to keep swarming like the Bulls did tonight, you're going to give yourself a good opportunity in a lot of games that you play in. So great for the Chicago Bulls defensively tonight. I talked about the assists. The assists were great, 36 assists. I think that might either tie a season high for the Chicago Bulls, or it might have been, it might be the best for the Chicago Bulls this season. Got to go back and look. But either way, 36 assists. That was terrific for the Chicago Bulls. Great job making passes with a purpose and then finishing those. We get beat up in the paint yet again, 70-50. But the Hawks have a lot of bigs out there, and I think that their bigs did a terrific job as far as rolling to the rim and dunking. So a nice pick and roll game for them. And that's what you would want. And hopefully we get to that point at some point where we get some bigs that can do that with us. Next up, fast break points. So 27-12, that plays into what we wanted to do as far as running and pace. We're first in pace, Atlanta's second. So 27-12, the Chicago Bulls take care of that. The turnovers, we still somehow got to stop beating ourselves. We turned the basketball over 19 times to the Atlanta Hawks 11. So I think we get out of that because we shot the basketball so well, and defensively I think we did a great job. And then as far as the Atlanta Hawks shooting the three-point shot tonight, they really struggled. Like Trae Young and these guys, 29%. They missed a ton of open shots, which really helped us out. We shot 57% tonight from the field on those 36 assists. So we were really efficient tonight. We played as a team. I think that was great. And I just think that the key takeaway for me is just that we utilize the youth. Like, we have got to do that. And I know that, this team wants to get, or, whoever the front office, they want to get locked into winning now. But I'll say it again, like, the youth movement is going to be important for this Chicago Bulls team, especially if you want to get to a point where you finally get out of the bottom of the middle of the Eastern Conference. And at some point, like, you're a legitimate contender and maybe you get out of the Eastern Conference. You need to see what you have with your younger players. And I thought tonight, that's what we saw tonight. We got a chance to see that, yes, whatever we're doing in practice, the things that we're talking about with the film sessions, running this new system, given the opportunity, they are executing and they know what to do. We now have to continue to push them out there. And so I hope that this is something that Billy Donovan continues to do. And I just want to see this more. And I know it's the Atlanta Hawks, and I don't care, because the bottom line is this team needs to do something to shift in the right direction. And this was the right shift tonight, playing your younger players. And so let me know in the comments what your key takeaway was from tonight's game. I'd love to hear that. And so I just want to thank everybody out there for liking, subscribing, and sharing the content. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest as we try to reach just a small goal of 5,000 subscribers before the NBA season ends. And I wanted to let you know about 75.5% of you that watch are not subscribed. So make sure that you go ahead and do like Modest Buzelis and slam dunk on that subscribe button for us, as that helps us get to the goal. And look, even though we are getting super hyped about a win against the Atlanta Hawks, a team that we've already beaten, I really don't care because you know what? That's what I wanted to see. And I also wanted to see this youth movement. So thank you. And I'm saying it as usual. Go Bulls. And I'll see you on the next one, guys. All right. Peace.